So today, we're going to dive into a story about the fall of a city, but it's not the kind of story you might be expecting. We're not looking at this from the battlefield or from some high-level government meeting. No, we're going to see it all from inside a single-family home, from a kitchen, right as a historic catastrophe is about to unfold.
And that one line, that's pretty much the key to this whole thing. It tells you right away that this story is going to focus on the intimate, the personal, not the epic scale of war we're so used to seeing. Okay, so let's set the scene. The whole point here is to zoom way, way in, you know? We're focusing on the small, everyday realities of one family, just moments before their entire world gets turned completely upside down. What's so powerful about this approach is how it makes a massive historical event feel incredibly, well, real and immediate. We're not getting troop movements or political strategies. Instead, we're hearing the sounds of the morning change. We're feeling the tension in a simple conversation. By sticking close to this smaller truth, we get to see what disaster actually feels like on a deeply human level.
And this is the family at the heart of it all. Each one of them kind of represents a different way of dealing with this creeping dread. You've got the father, Li Lan, who is just clinging to the hope that everything will be fine. Then there's the mother, Li Lan, who acts on her fear without saying a word. Our narrator, the daughter Li Lan, is the quiet witness to all of it. The son tries to put on a brave face, and then you have the grandmother. She's the one who sees the truth long before anyone else is willing to say it out loud.
All right, so let's move on and see how this all starts to build. This next part really focuses on how the family's sense of safety, their idea of home, starts to crumble from the inside, way before any real violence ever reaches their front door.
And this right here, this is the central idea of the whole story. It's making the point that home isn't just four walls and a roof. It's a feeling, right? A feeling of safety, of routine, of trust. And that feeling can be the very first casualty of war.
This slide just illustrates that breakdown perfectly. On one side, you have what's being said, the father, Li Lan, trying to reassure everyone, saying what they all want to be true. But then look at what's being done. The mother, Li, is telling a totally different story with her actions. She's not listening to speeches, she's counting rice, packing little bundles, watching the fear in people's eyes at the market. She's reacting to the reality in front of her, not the hope in the air. This line from the grandmother just cuts right to the heart of it. The real warnings aren't coming from official announcements or newspapers. They're coming from the city itself. The tight faces of neighbors, the hurried way people walk, that thick tension in the air. The whole community has become a barometer for the coming storm. Okay, so now we get to the climax of the story. This is the moment when all that chaos from the outside world finally and violently breaks into this family's small universe. And just look how fast everything falls apart on that last day. It starts quietly, with the mother packing before sunrise. But soon, the very sounds of the city tell them everything has changed. The morning just feels wrong. Then comes the neighbor with that final warning. And that's it. They're forced out onto the street, right into the middle of the chaos they had tried so hard to keep outside their walls. And this is such a crucial point. For this family, the city doesn't fall with a loud explosion. It falls with a quiet whisper. In that one, single, terrifying instruction from a mother to her daughter, the last bit of safety just evaporates. It's the moment the daughter, Li Lan, is no longer just a child, but someone who has to be hidden. In that instant, home is well and truly gone.
But the story doesn't stop there. Actually, you could argue its most powerful message is about what comes after. It's not about some triumphant victory or dramatic rescue. It's about the quiet, brutal work of just enduring.
So that's the big question this last part makes us ask. What does it actually mean to survive something like this? Does everything just go back to normal, or is it something else entirely? The answer, as we see here, is that survival means living in an altered form. The family is physically together, sure, but they are all profoundly changed. And look at these details, they're heartbreaking. The mother's hand now hesitates before she touches her own child. The father can't even meet his daughter's eyes. The son's boyhood is just gone, replaced by this heavy silence. And Li Lan, the daughter, is no longer just a girl, she's now the keeper of this broken family memory. And this really gets to the story's stark definition of survival. It's not about being rescued or things being restored to how they were. It's about the act of carrying what happened, the trauma, the memory, the pain, into every single day that comes after. So let's try to pull all this together. Where does this story leave us? What's the ultimate message here?
This is the key takeaway for sure. The greatest destruction here isn't physical. It's the way that trauma gets into everything, into the most ordinary parts of life. A family dinner, a simple touch, a quiet moment, all of these things are now loaded with the weight of what happened. They are still a family, but they don't know how to be a family in the same way anymore. Survival means having to learn how to live inside that new, shattered reality. And the story leaves us right here, with this incredibly powerful and lingering question. It's a reminder that life just goes on. The sun keeps coming up, whether we're ready for it or not. And the real story of survival is found in that question. When your world and even you yourself have been changed forever, how do you find a way to face the morning that comes next?